Imagine you just debuted as a K-pop idol under South Korea's one of the biggest labels. Your debut album is a super hit both locally and internationally. Your music is dominating charts, surpassing already famous senior groups. Over 100 brands want to work with you. You're marketed as the world's biggest group's sister group. People are in love with you. Hell, even idols are fangirling over you. You work with the biggest names in the fashion industry. Prestigious brands that only work with big names in the industry hires you as their brand ambassador. Sounds surreal, right? Well, it wasn't just a mere imagination for New Jeans. It was their reality. Perfect debut, perfect music, perfect branding. Everything seemed to work quite well for them until they themselves messed up big time. Lawsuits, losing a member, lack of activity, everything that could go wrong went wrong. But what went so wrong that NewJeans went from nation's beloved group to now almost abandoned by their own label? Or was it doomed from the start? Hi and welcome to my channel. If you like these type videos, make sure to stay because we're about to dive deep into this mess. The flawed beginning. Before we talk about NewJeans, we have to talk about the genius mastermind behind their success, Min Hee-jin. NewJeans' ex-creative director and ex-CEO of Adore, the hype subsidiary NewJeans debuted under. Min Hee-jin entered the K-pop industry through SM Entertainment, one of the powerhouses of K-pop, as a graphic designer in 2002, and was later promoted as a creative director. She worked there from 2002 to 2018. During her time in SM Entertainment, she works with groups like Red Velvet, SHINee, FX, and EXO. And her working style was, well, questionable. Let's dissect some of her past works, shall we? Let's start with Red Velvet. In their Happiness MV, there were many references of Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombing and 9/11, which later on were edited out, but what was the need? If it was to create noise, weren't the girls' talents enough? Or the fact that they literally debuted under SM Entertainment, a label known for their vocalists. Red Velvet later released a song called Ice Cream Cake, which was directed by none other than Min Hee-jin. It was filled with sexual innuendos, and members Joy and Yeti were 18 and 16 at the time of release. A photo shoot for Velvet's song Rookie was directed by, again, Min Hee-jin, had Lolita style. If you don't know what Lolita style is, you can just Google, but to summarize, it's a style that fetishizes kids. And Yeti was 17 at the time of shooting. Next in the line is SHINee. SHINee's Sherlock MV photoshoot had members topless for the shoot. Member Jonghyun's body was photoshopped to make it less muscular and more boyish. If that's not inappropriate, I don't know what else is. SHINee had a variety show called Yoonhana. The concept of the show was basically the members were competing over who was the best date for older women. Oldest member Jonghyun was 18 and the youngest member Taemin was only 14. This photoshoot of EXO Sky, Chinese Taemin, and FX's Crystal was inspired by the movie Dreamers, where a pair of twins become sexually active with a third male student. Which brings us to this concept photo of 14 years old Sully of FX for the MV Oh Boy. And boy, oh boy. Crystal of FX in this photoshoot was only 14, by the way. She also worked with another famous name in K-pop, NCT. In 2016, NCT Dream members were styled to look like young kids. Mind you, the oldest member was 18 and the youngest member was only 14. In the MV for NCT Dream's My First and Last, members were being students in love with their teacher. The youngest member, Jisang, was only 15. In this MV for NCT 127 includes shooting a girl with water. The young actress was in 6th grade at the time of shooting. These were only few examples of her weird professional work, but we have to talk about her personal style as well, which is just as disturbing. On her Insta account, she posted a picture that includes the Histoire de Melody Nelson album by Serge Gainsbourg on display in her apartment. The album's storyline was about a middle-aged man who takes a 14-year-old's virginity. She posted a picture of Olivia Hussey and Leonard Barding's nude scene from the movie Romeo and Juliet. Olivia was 15 and Leonard was 16 at the time of shooting. Later, the actors have actually sued Paramount over nudity in this scene. She posted a picture that includes a still from the movie Le Faro de Padre, where the plot was an older man planning to marry a mentally challenged teen girl. She posted several pictures that include a picture of baby Brooke as a decoration in her apartment, which she later on admitted were gifts, but using a picture of a child actress who was heavily sexualized as decoration is definitely a choice. These were the examples of her questionable behavior I could gather. If you know any that I didn't include in this video, make sure to comment down below. Her weird obsession with kids didn't end there. It got a more stable platform to flourish when she left SM Entertainment in 2018 and joined Hype in 2019. That brings us to the next chapter. The debut. NEWJEANS was hired by Hype Entertainment as the CEO of their latest subsidiary, Adore. Under her creative control, on July 22nd, 2024, debuted the girl group NEWJEANS. Members were Minji, Hani, Daniel, Herin, and Hee. NEWJEANS caught everyone's attention since day one in an industry oversaturated with girl boss savvy concepts. Their soft girl next door waifu concept seemed like a breath of fresh air. Pretty soon, they managed to build a stable fan base. They worked with brands like Gucci, Burberry, Louis Vuitton, Olens, and the most impressive one, Seoul Tourism. The brand, notoriously known for working with high-profile idols like IU, Psy, and G-Dragon. But with fame came controversies. The internet was quick to point out the red flags hidden behind the cute white mask. In Attention Envy, the youngest member Haein, who was 14, was seen wearing a bralette, which is weird considering the older members wore loose-fitted, more comfy clothes. In Daniel and Harin's version of Hype Boy MV, member Daniel was seen making a suggestive move by taking a lollipop out of her own mouth and putting it in Harin's mouth. Daniel was 17 and Harin was 16 at the time of shooting. The Heart MV was almost entirely made up of zoom shots of members. This questions where's the line between creativity and straight up creepiness. Daniel was styled like Matilda from Professional. Matilda was played by 12 years old Natalie Portman, and there are many inappropriate themes between her and the character portrayed by 46 years old John Reno. Mindy posted this picture where she's wearing a shirt that clearly says, "Pimp is yours." And the worst offense of all is their song, Cookie. The lyrics itself is quite self-explanatory. People's criticism is quite validated here because cookie, if you didn't know, is a slang for women's private area. After the internet flooded with criticism, the members made a video explaining that the song is about baking a cookie for their fans, which would have been believable if the lyrics weren't like this. Clearly, the song is not about an actual cookie. And you cannot make the excuse of, oh, the members didn't know the English slang. Daniel and Honey grew up in Australia, and Minji is pretty fluent in English. Later, in an interview with Jungang Albo, Minijin herself said that pimp is yours and cookie are slang. Yeah, right, but slangs for what? Let's talk a bit about Minijin herself and her weird obsession with the youngest members. In an interview with Beatitude magazine, she talked about the members. And she said that Minji was apparently prettier when she was younger, and that she took all the members individually to her house, which is questionable at best and predatory at worst. Why does a grown adult like Minijin want to hang out with teenagers? And since when do employees hang out with their CEO? Make it make sense. Now back to NewJeans. They got into another controversy ahead of their ETA release, as people found many similarities with Spanish terrorist group Euskadi da Askatasuna. The teaser video said, starring Michael, Maria, and Ava, names connected to said group. The release date, July 21st, was also the date of two group attacks in different years. The MV Cool With You had a scene with actress Jung Ho-yeon being naked in the rain and the members watching over her. The MV also included a scene where she got on top of a man who was sleeping. Definitely not problematic. At least not according to Minijin. Fortunately or unfortunately, Minijin's list of problematic works didn't get to progress longer because Hybe had different plans. The Crack in the Perfect Illusion. On April 25, 2024, Hybe filed a criminal complaint against Minijin and other Adore executives over breach of trust. And on the same day, Minijin held an emergency press conference where she berated Eyelid and Le Seraphim for allegedly copying Minijin. Which brings us to things only got worse for the girls when their parents and later they themselves got voluntarily involved in this mess. On May 14, 2024, the parents of NewJeans filed a petition in court in favor of Minhyujin. On September 11th, NewJeans went live on YouTube and accused Eyelid members of disrespecting Honey by not bowing to her. According to Honey, Eyelid's manager told the girls to quote-unquote ignore her. And in the CCTV footage of the infamous interaction between the two girl groups, you can clearly see the girls bowing to them. And yes, I said them. According to Honey, there were no one else in the hallway at that time, but you can clearly see Danielle in this footage. The internet bombarded Eyelid with hateful messages and even death threats, something NewJeans' fandom bunnies specialize in. Remember the cursed press conference held by Minhyujin? After that, two girl groups, Eyelid and the Seraphim, not only got a ton of hate from the netizens, but also on August 1st, 2024, Team Bunnies, a NewJeans fan site, sent funeral wreaths to Hyde on the Seraphim member Kim Tae-won's birthday as a curse. Very professional indeed. On September 24th, NewJeans' parents met at Minijean's office with lawyers, and on September 13th, Minijean was seen privately meeting Hae's uncle. On September 15th, Hani testified at the National Assembly for workplace bullying, which later led to the court alleging that idols are not employees. Thanks to Honey, now it will be 10 times harder for idols going through actual workplace harassment to get justice. All because idol members were 1 degree shy of a 90-degree vow. I wonder who could suggest her to do such things. On November 28th, NewJeans held an emergency press conference announcing the contract termination at midnight. And you do not need to have a law degree to realize that that's not how contracts work. As expected, on December 3rd, Adore filed a lawsuit to confirm validity of their exclusive contracts. On January 6, 2025, Adore filed an injunction to preserve management role and block new ad contracts. And on January 13th, Adore filed another injunction to ad contracts. But that wasn't enough to stop NewJeans, or in better words, NGZ, because on February 7, 2025, NewJeans announced their appearance in Hong Kong Complaints Gone under a new name, NJZ. And again, as expected, Hype retaliated with another activity ban injunction. After everything, you might think that someone around them, some adult, would at least try to protect them. Someone would understand the gravity of NewJeans' action and would warn the girls about their potential career damage, or worse, getting blacklisted in the K-pop industry. No, not NewJeans' parents at least, because they were busy opening Insta accounts and accusing Hype themselves. All because Hype fired NewJeans? Make it make sense. Things get even messier after NewJeans, or NJC, managed to perform at Hong Kong Complex Con. NewJeans claimed that Hype neglected them before their performance at Complex Con, but Hype claimed that they sent a full team of makeup artists, but NewJeans allegedly chose to ignore them. There's no official proof of what actually happened, so take it as a grain of salt. On May 7th, Minji testified that she was hurt because Miss Seraphim debuted first. At this point, I don't know what to call it anymore, entitlement or delusion. Because think about the thousands of trainees who spent years training to be an idol, only to be discarded at the end and ended up in debt. And we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars here. The moment you believe there is no hope left for NewJeans members, finally, Hae's father tried to protect his daughter and opposed the contract termination. As a result, he lost all of his parenting rights of his daughter. On June 17th, the court banned all the members from pursuing any activity and charged 1 billion Korean won per member over breach of contract. October 30th, the court ruled against NewJeans in their legal battle with Adore, concluding that the group's contracts with the label, which are set to expire in 2029, remain valid, leaving no other option to NewJeans members but to return to Hype. Youngest members Haerin and Haein were the first to return to Adore. On December 29th, Adore announced Hani's return and also that they are in talks with Minji. But then came the bad news. Adore announced that they've terminated Daniel's contract and would be filing for a lawsuit against her family, and Minji. I'm not blaming anyone here, but when you are legally banned from accepting any brand deals, maybe don't go around looking like a walking billboard. The lawsuit has now led to Adore seizing properties of Minijin and Daniel's mother, which puts a lot of financial pressure on them. Calling this case unfortunate is an understatement. Safe to say, each and every adult around NEWJEANS has failed them. At the end of the day, they were kids. They were easy to manipulate. And I don't think anyone would ever want to be stuck in an endless cycle of court cases. All of this could have been avoided if adults around NEWJEANS tried to protect them instead of chasing for clout. All I'm saying is that Minnieson left Hive as a renowned creative director and millions of dollars in her bank account, and NewJeans is now known for being entitled and hard to work with. Adore has recently announced that NewJeans are preparing for a comeback as a four-member group. Let's hope they receive all the love and support from the netizens. That's it for today.